What's up, Reapers? Welcome back to the crypt. I'm in a great mood. I have a bit of an interesting video for you. I only got 4 albums here, and it's not jams I've been jamming, but rather some of the first death metal albums I ever heard. And starting it off, we're gonna go with the very first death metal band and album I ever got into. That being Cannibal Corpse with Tomb of the Mutilated. This was my introduction to all death metal, and this was my um I don't want to say well, it was my introduction, but it was also my introduction to the more not overproduced stuff. um I had heard death before this, and like I heard a Carcass song somewhere when I was younger, but I didn't really know what they were saying. Um, but I remember finding Hammer Smash Face through um so stupid. What the fuck? There we go. Um, I remember hearing Hammer Smashed Face through what the fuck was it called? Loudwire. And I remember just being very um entranced by it, and then I remember later on I would listen to like Icon Blood, Addicted to Vaginal Skin. My favorite is Necropedophile. Uh, Intros ripped from a Virgin's Cunt. That's another one. But then I listened to Suffocation, Pierce from Within. This is one of my favorite albums of all time. I mean, every fucking song on here is fantastic, from the title track to uh, the fucking Breeding the Spawn. And I remember I would watch a lot of Killbot and Gorgor Attack, which I've actually just been listening to him, and I actually just listened to some Origin because I got put in the mood immediately. But I remember he mentioned, I'll tell you, there's some people uh, finding copies of Suffocation's Pierce from Within may cause some stupid emotions, and that immediately put me um on a mission to listen to it. So I found it, and I was like, okay, all right, and and I was like just looking at the art before I even put on the first song. Mind you, I was streaming at the time. I didn't have a whole bunch of CDs like I do now. Um, so keep that in mind. I didn't get this until 22. Yeah, Christmas of 22. But I remember I listened to it, and I was like, man, what a fucking awesome album. And I got to see them in 20 in summer of 22 with Atheist, and it was awesome. I got to shake the hand of Terrence Hobbs, and I freaked out inside because I was also wearing the Suffocation shirt from the Metalhead box. I do like old school death metal a lot. But my favorite songs, I mean, Pierce from Within, Thrones of Blood, Depths of Depravity, Torn into Enthrallment, Synthetically Revived, just super solid songs. And then I would also watch a lot of J-Hop films, and I listened to like Aeon, which I do have an Aeon album through there, but that's also how I found my favorite band, one of my favorite death metal bands, and I have the poster right here. And if you couldn't read that, it was this band, Aborted Retrogore. Very first album I ever heard from them, and I fell in love. And I remember just absolutely fucking headbanging. As soon as I heard the song Retrogore, I was like, no, I don't headbang like that, but back then I'd be like, I don't really headbang that much unless it's a band I really, really like, so. Yeah, but I remember listening to Aborted and just, oh my god. My favorite song on here by far has to be Divine Impediment. I mean, Hormageddon, Retrogore, Cadaverous, Banquet, Bit by Bit, From Beyond the Grave. Just awesome fucking stuff all around. And then these two bands I found through Killbot. I remember he would talk about Entomb, Left Hand Path. And at first I didn't understand the hype. I was just like, I listened to like the title track and I was like, oh, he goes, but when I got this, I put it on and I gave it a little bit of a fair shake. And I was like, okay, that's why Entombed. And I mean, I probably listened to this, I don't even know how many times last year. And then finally, Dying Fetus. Actually, I don't even think I found it through Killbot. I think it was just kind of shown to me, and it was this album in particular, Wrong One to Fuck With. And I remember listening to the title track, and I was like, oh, and I was just in love with the riffing. And I remember I would add it to every playlist I could because I loved just how edgy it was, because it's like, oh, it's the wrong one to fuck with. Oh, look how big I am. And then I heard their famous Grotesque Impalement EP. I remember hearing the title track. I was like, oh, that's even better. But I think my favorite song from here is Tearing Inside the Womb. But I remember hearing the and just loving it. That was a terrible impression of Dying Fetus. I'm sorry. But, it wasn't really a video that I wanted to just use a whole bunch of CDs for. I didn't want to do just the boring, oh, here are my favorite albums currently. Here are my favorite. Here are jams I've been jamming recently. No, I want to do something a bit different. Um, that said, what was the first death metal album you guys heard? Um, maybe comment your favorite death metal album if you have one. I don't know what mine is, honestly, because I have so many favorites that it's hard to really choose. Um, but yeah, thank you all for watching. Thank you for subscribing, and as always, keep it grim.